We'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Gangster Chronicles podcast. It's your boy Bigg Steele along with
Jill.
And tonight, I had the homie WIllie D from WIllie D Live, WIllie D Podcast, and all that other good stuff. You know, step in with us real quick. Appreciate you stepping in with us real quick. I'm gonna touch on the sign. I know we talked about it last week, Eiht, but it's been some new revelations in the Sonya Macy case. Remember, we were saying it was just a bunch of stuff that didn't make sense.
Right.
Come to find out, allegedly, that the guy's wife is a nurse, and it fell out with the woman earlier.
So what do you mean? She got it with her dude or whatever? What you saying?
Yeah, the police officer was her. The police officer has a wife, right? She's a nurse. She fell out with the Sonya Macy lady, evidently, from what I'm hearing. She fell out with her at the hospital, and so she told her husband about it. And evidently, I guess, you know how she said she had someone outside of her house messing with her, bust the windows out of her car and stuff.
Yeah, I didn't know all that. All I know is the report was that she called because she thought she heard a prowler outside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
it was him. And so he responded to the call and went back. So evidently, this man possibly had something against that lady already.
That actually aligns with what I think it was a son said something about it. Somebody said something about having seen that officer on the scene earlier in the day.
Mm-hmm. So it makes a lot of sense.
And so that could possibly intersect with him, knocking, busting the windows, busting the window pane, so he could have an excuse for her to call 911, and then he could come back and then be the officer on the scene, give him a great alibi and a great excuse to blow her head off.
Yeah, because when you think about it, right, he came in the house asking if she had mental problems. And the only way she would know if the woman had mental problems is if he had access to either her hospital records or he had a prior incident with her before. And it was something in the police database about it. If that's the case, if this guy's wife went and told her husband that she got mental problems, you can't give nobody's medical information away freely. That's against HIPAA. That's against HIPAA laws. Mm-hmm. If I go to the hospital, and somebody finds out, oh, that's the dude from the podcast, and let's say I got even asthma, and they go out and tell their friends, he got asthma and stuff, they can go to jail for that. That's against the law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you can't tell nobody's medical. You can't tell people's personal medical history, dog, in public.
Man, the bottom line is this uncivilized must need to be brought to heel. Like this dude, let's just take away all of the premeditated stuff. Let's just say that didn't even exist. What we saw is enough to put that clown away for life, forever. And really, I'm gonna tell you something else, man. They look, I ain't the president, because I signed an executive order to start executing police officers. I'd kill them straight up.
That's what needs to happen. That's what probably needs to happen.
I'd kill them just like we get life. If we kill, the death penalty, depending on what state you're in, the death penalty is on the table if you kill a police automatic. It's automatically on the table. It should be automatically on the table when they kill us illegally.
Because that was an execution. That wasn't the the thing where the man was fearing for his life. He executed that woman.
Yeah, he showed no. Basically, he was just showing how he was using his authoritative figure to his advantage. And then if the wife has an issue, that's just gonna make his attitude go through the roof. A guy who has been on record of what he went through 4 different departments or 6 different departments. Like that shit is. There was no way he should have been allowed to be any kind of patrol officer when you've been dismissed or you've been reprimanded from 6 different departments. That shows you got some kind of issue within yourself as far as the police is concerned. We already got situations with them, and now you allow a person who's been, kicked out of 5, 6 other departments come over the year. I guess they was desperate for patrolmen, because that's a dude who should have never been allowed to even police anyone. He can't even police himself.
Well, he should have never had a badge, and my thing is this, Will, if you are an ex-military guy that has been dishonorably discharged, you should be automatically ineligible to join any police force. Because do you know how big of a screw up you got to be to get dismissed from the military?
Mm-hmm.
You got to do a whole lot of messing up. It needs to be guidelines. It's like being a police officer is probably a doctor, a police officer, fireman. You have to be a person that's really a public servant type. And that's why I'm a fan of community policing. I wish they would start hiring guys that are really from the neighborhood. You got to, it ain't all knuckleheads floating around the neighborhood. You got guys that will make good police officers to come back to places like Compton, the Fifth Ward, different places that actually come up in the environment to know people. I think it'd just make better policing.
You're absolutely right in that regard. However, once those police officers go home, at some point those police officers have to go home, and those police officers probably are not going to live in the community where they serve. Even if they are Black, they're probably not going to live in the community that they serve, right? And then there'll be time where you're going to have a spillover when you call the police. Whoever's available, whoever's in the area, whoever close by, is going to converge on the scene. But beyond that, and this is a greater concern of mine. When these cops are not patrolling our neighborhood, let's say you got regular old hillbilly Bubba, that can't stand Black folks. He can't hate us, straight up regular Klansman, Proud Boy, right? He don't have to work in our community to get a free kill. He can wait till we cross that line. So, basically, he can say, okay, that's their community. I can't police that area. But the moment they drive that car past that railroad track, once they cross that intersection, I got them. I still could do whatever I want to do with them. So maybe Black people are not getting killed in their own communities, but they're getting killed right outside of their own communities now. The bodies are still turning up.
Yeah, and that's because, Will, we see them put police officers in jail. There's nothing, they get off more often than not. It's probably, I don't know the exact statistics, but it's really rare for a police officer to really go to jail. Usually he has some kind of special, they put a special unit on and they let them off because they still are police officers at the end of the day and they look out for each other. So These guys really don't have any consequences. And I think the only solution that you have to this is just like you said. I bet you if they start frying a few of them dudes, people start thinking.
Well, it's two ways. It's only really two ways for them to change their behavior. Is either they're held accountable in the court of law, or either the people hold them accountable in the streets. That's it. It ain't no other way, because we've tried everything else. It don't work. I don't care how much you march. It might put a dent in it, but it seemed like they ain't slowed down in the killing. Remember, when they was protesting George Floyd's murder, at the height of the protest, somebody got killed right down the street. A police officer killed another Black person right down the street. It's almost like they kill purposely just to prove a point that, hey, ain't nothing changed. Just like when Barack Obama became president, Black people were still getting slaughtered in the streets by police in record numbers, and it's almost like they amped it up. I remember when we had Chief Lee Brown in Houston. I think he was the first Black police chief in Houston. Well, guess what? More Black people died on his watch at the hands of the police than they did when we didn't have a Black police chief. And that is because some of these guys, they got the mentality like, hey, ain't nothing changed. We're going to prove to y'all that, ain't nothing changed, and we're gonna keep doing exactly what we're gonna do, what we're doing. What's gonna stop us? They killed a woman named Ida Lee Delaney on the highway, a black woman who was a grandmother on the highway. White boys behind her, they were drunk. Police officers, they were drunk. They were bothering her. It was a road rage situation where they pretty much ran her off the road. When they ran up on her, she died. She pulled that thing. And, before she could get hers off, they gunned her down. And they all walked. Keep in mind, they were drunk. They were agitators. They were provocateurs. They went after her and they got off. So this is the type of stuff that they do because they know that they got damn qualified immunity. They got skin color immunity. You dig what I'm saying? So that's what we're up against. So it doesn't matter, it'll have no, don't let me back up. It does matter. It has some credibility putting police officers in the neighborhoods with people that look like them. That it has some. But that is not the complete answer. The complete answer is accountability all the way across the board, whether they kill in the neighborhood or whether they kill outside of our neighborhoods.
Yeah, well, you know what? The thing is, I'm with you 100% on your first solution. It's starting to Friday ass because, and I hearing all these people talk about Trump now. Trump has said multiple times that he's going to give police officers immunity. That's pretty much saying I don't give a damn what they did. They're not gonna have to stand trial. They're not gonna have to do nothing. They're not gonna have to do none of that. They just gonna be able to go out there, rape, kill, and do whatever it is they want to. Another thing that they do, I saw a thing today to where you had a guy that was ex-military. He was a Mexican dude going into Vegas. He had $85,000 in his trunk. They automatically told him, he said, it's my life savings. I've been saving my money. I'm moving. I like keeping my cash. That's his right. It ain't against the law to have cash. They told him, well, according to our dogs, this is drug money. He said, how can your dogs tell it's drug money? He said, none of these bills are over 20 years old. So if it's your life savings, why do you have this money? He said, well, I can go to the bank and take my life savings out. You can go to the bank and get $80,000 out. Police have been out here taking people's money, and their whole thing is that they just run like a gang with impunity. It's a gang. If they can go in your car, let's say you just came off a tour and you got $60,000 in your car, they can pull you over and take your money.
Right. Yeah, they try to do me like that. I had went on tour. I was in Japan, and I came back, and some of my peoples lived in a not so desirable part of the city, but I still, because I'm feeling I'm legit enough that I can go, visit my peoples. So upon entering the apartment complex, they're going in and I'm coming out, and they automatically eye me. So they instantly bust a U-turn, followed me for about maybe 10 minutes, and then just decided, okay, we're going to flash you. So they flash me. They walk up to the car. They doing all they mumbo jumbo. And then, so they take me out the car, said I had a warrant out of LA County, but it's a different county. So you know how that works. So anyway, they going through my bags and stuff. So I had maybe about $4,000 cash that I didn't deposit in the bank when I got back from tour. So they find the money. Then they find my backpack and seeing pictures of me standing with a gang of Japanese dudes and low riders and all of that. So they automatically figured I was a drug dealer with connections to Japan. And they tried to confiscate my money. And I showed them plane tickets and everything. And they basically handcuffed me, took me in, took my car to the impound, kicked in my speaker boxes, everything, looking for drugs and all that. So, and then they stuck me in the holding cell all the way in the back of the jail. You know, they didn't give me no phone call, none of that. And it just happened to be a black cop come back there, see me sitting in there, and he actually let me out because I didn't have, you know, the warrant was out of LA County. LA wasn't finna come pick me up for a traffic ticket. You feel me? So they let me out. But the whole matter of it was that they wanted to affiliate me with some underworld because they wanted to confiscate my money. They wanted to tie my money to some drug dealing. And then after asking me about it, then they want to start asking you, who do you know? Or who can you give us? Or you don't know anybody that you know. So they're very upfront with trying to confiscate whatever they feel. You get me? Nigga, I had 2 brand new Madden football games in the package. They took them motherfuckers. They took my iPod. Nigga, my whole car was towed up because they was looking for drugs. But then they gonna justify. You go to ask the tow truck yard, where's all my shit at? They gonna say, they said, hey, the police came in here and they just went through your car. They tore everything up and they took what they wanted.